Stapleton freak, man.
Hello? Hello? Oh shit, yo. We got quad all to ourselves. Takeover. Let's go.
It's a takeover, I'm down for that. Where's the studio? I'm ready to black. Season interviewing all the moves we execute.
Yo, we about to take this shit over. Let's go get some interviews done.
Surfing straight over haters, man, my mind's on money. Mental strength with a passion, true out of plan. With the heart of a lion, took a stand. Now we can say
I wasn't hurt, but I gotta let you go. Je ne sais si tu sais. I don't know if you knew. It was love for you. You're growing old, what's it go? That right. Needed your love, that right.
Nigga, who shot what? Nigga, I ain't seen shit, I'm blind, that song God, oh my God. Fucking with me, I got 2 clocks called a Medinetti, and we out of my nigga like Tom and Jerry. Ain't not in the game, be very scary, cause I'm a beast, so legendary. So we back out the choppers, a secondary, and we shitting on niggas like many, and you making no money, got barely any nigga.
Yo, it's the takeover. We here at Quad Studios with our boy Osaji, straight out of Harlem. He's got his debut single out, Hurt, on all streaming platforms now. Let's get into this interview. Let's get into your debut single, Hurt, right? Banger, all around.
Appreciate you.
All around, fire. In my opinion, the song is very much personal. You know, feels very personal and so relatable, like on a grand scale. You seem like you were in a very vulnerable place when you wrote that song.
Definitely.
Yeah, let's get into, you know, how you came up with the song, with the track.
All right, well, it was the summer of 2019. It's like July going in August, something like that. Sorry, June going in July. And I literally just had a terrible breakup. I'm drinking, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not even a drinker, so me drinking, it's like, it's something really I'm going through, so I'm drinking, you know what I mean? I just start making this beat, you know what I mean? I'm drunk as fuck, high as fuck, start making this beat. It's kind of, you know, I'm just vibing out to it. Then I just think of these lyrics, we could have been a thing, but you want to be a hoe, you know what I mean? Because I just got cheated on, no funny shit. And I'm like, that's kind of catchy. So I'm still vibing, I'm singing, you know what I mean? Drunk as fuck. It sounds awful, like me scatting like the lyrics out loud, awful. And it just came. It just came to me, you know what I mean? And after that, I kind of knew I had one, you know what I mean?
Well, I could agree with you on that.
Thank you.
Sound is super dope. Let's get into your style of music. Your style reaches so many different genres, and you have that melodic type flow that you have excellent control over, by the way.
Thank you.
And but you still give off that mellow, chill, hip hop vibe. So how would you categorize your sound?
I mean, shit, as of recent, I've been an R&B singer, but I started off rapping, and then production came into my life like a year later. So I've just had a bunch of influences, just growing up. And I started music in 2010, so just growing up, I just had a lot of influence. The first one being Drake himself, you know what I mean? Drake just being such an adaptable artist, that's what inspired to me. I want to make everything, you know what I mean? And like even when I was rapping, like low key, I used to want to be a singer. Like if you go back in the vault, you'll find like little gems, you know what I mean, of me like singing terribly written. You'll never hear the songs, but you know what I mean? It became like Drake opened the door for a lot of other artists for me, and then I started listening. As I grew up, I started listening to a lot of reggae. As of somewhat recent, in the past 2 years, made like reggaeton, trap, anything that just catches my ear, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna go with, you know what I mean, and just run with it, cause like I get inspired just by it might be anything. I might just hear some song passing by in a car, and I'll be in a store and I get asked my iPhone like, what song is this? You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, anything. I can't even categorize my music at this point.
Yeah.
whatever I'm feeling at that moment.
And that's what's going to set you apart from a lot of other artists that are out here right now. But let's get into that Spanish flair that's on that track. Hurt. That shit is fire. So
Thank you.
how did all of that come about?
Honestly, I was at a get together with one of my friends, and he's Dominican, and
Wait, I'm sorry. Do you have any Spanish heritage background?
no, not at all. I mean, my ancestry says like 1% Spain, but that's as far as that's going.
Very good Spanish dialect.
Thank you. But yeah, I was just at one of my friends' get together, and you know what I mean? Dominicans tend to hang out with other Dominicans,
That's
so
a fact.
they just speak in Spanglish. I'm not really understanding much, so I'm like, all right, this is a bit annoying. Maybe I should learn this.
Yeah.
And then like I would go in, like I went into the crib, and like I noticed like they was all like listening to a bunch of Spanish music, but they knew it word for word. So you know what I mean? Like, and the music sounded, good, even though I don't really know what's going on. Like, so I'm like, okay. So I called my friend like a few minutes later. I'm already drunk now. And I called my friend a few minutes later, like, yo, bro, I'm about to learn Spanish and make Spanish music and just see how it hits. And like, he thinking I'm joking. So I'm like, nah, bro, I'm dead ass.
Watch
like,
this.
I'm dead ass. You know what I mean? So like, it took me about 2 years to get like, I'm still not fluent, but like, it took me 2 years to know more than like a little more than the basics. So, and like I can't say I've been studying over and over and that. I kind of just listen to the music and take what I can get out of there. And just listen to people like talking in the street or something, and like I'll try to like translate it in my head. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's a little too fast for me. Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, like I just wanted
Nonetheless,
to learn
you
it.
processed it, and you gave it out to the people really well.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's dope.
I'll be having little references, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll hit up one of my Spanish friends, like, yo, this makes sense? Like, before I release the song, just so I'm not out here just chatting. Because if you heard some of my first, like, when I was learning Spanish, like, in the very beginning, I tried, like, making little Spanish, like, lines. Terrible. I was terrible.
Yeah.
You'll never hear those neither. But they sounded good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Progress.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, so what was the creative process like for her?
Like I said, just drunk.
Because I know you do everything yourself too. So I want to get
Oh, you mean
into
like
that.
literally? Like, what was the?
Yeah, I want to know how it was from scratch, like from top,
Well,
from
definitely
bottom to top.
still drunk. High. It wasn't really any much different than my normal creative process. It was just me. You know what I mean? I got a keyboard in the crib, so I'll just be playing certain melodies. I'll just mess with certain things, and then like a lot of like I'll start with like the melody before I add any drums, and like I'll just put it on like go record like random vocals. Like I said, I just came up with We Could Have Been a Thing, Want to Be a Hoe, and it just started flowing after that. So I say my creative process is really sporadic. You know what I mean? It's not really in order to it. It's just more of whatever you know what I mean, whatever I'm feeling at that moment.
So let's take it back. I know you said you started doing music at a very young age, but when did you become Osaji the artist?
About when was that? About like 2016 going into 2017, if I remember correctly. Just because like my old name was Flow, and it was like an acronym, FLO, meaning Forever Live On. And it's like it just wasn't hitting no more. And then like I looked it up, other people had the name. I was like, all right, no one's gonna have Osaji, so why not just go with that? And it's my name, so I'm like, why not just go with that? I mean, there's like a few like Osaji Fu, that's like the original spelling of my name, but like my mom had cut it short. And there's like a few of those, but there's no one artist that just has Osaji. So I was like,
Where does that name stem from? What's your background?
if I'm not my background personally is a mixture of African American on my mom's side, and on my father's side is Liberian and Lebanese.
Dope.
And that name, I want to say it's Nigeria or Ghana. I completely forgot.
Somewhere
That's
in Africa.
terrible. I know. but it's Nigerian or it's from Ghana, and it means redeemer. The real name is Osaji Fu. It's spelled just like Osagye, but with a FO at the end. So, yeah, like, yeah, it just means redeemer, and I definitely feel like I'm the redeemer when it comes to certain things, just in life, whether it be family, friends, or just myself. You know what I mean?
Living up to your name. I like that. So let's get into a little game that we like to play over here at the Takeover,
Okay,
right?
okay.
So you have like a very sporadic, creative process. So let's see if your mind works sporadically, right?
Okay.
30 seconds on the clock. Top 5 artists you'd work with if you had the chance. Let's go.
Top 5 artists: Drake, Cole, Kendrick. I've had the chance and we have worked, but Abby Jasmine, and 5. Who's 5? Who's 5? Who's 5? I don't know. My mind going
10
blank.
seconds on the clock.
My mind going blank. It might be over. I don't know what else artists I really listen to. Well, let's throw on YG. I fucks with YG.
YG, I like that.
I fucks with YG.
Yeah, I like that. I can see that.
I don't know what song we make, but it'd be fire. Whatever it is.
I could definitely see that. When you said that, like, yeah, that's dope.
I fuck
That's
with the
dope as
West.
hell. Yeah, so, okay, so you from Harlem, but you also out in LA a lot,
Nah,
too.
yeah. I fucks with LA. LA is some place I like idolized when I was like 14, 15. Like I had made like internet friends over there, and they would talk about it all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I ain't never been over there, so I'm just dreaming about it.
Yeah.
And I finally just got the chance to go over there, and it was honestly everything I expected it to be. So I kind of just fell in love with it, and I moved over there for like 3 months and came back and just started just like visiting every year, just
Dope.
visiting friends.
The
doing
vibe
random
over there
shit.
is definitely different. It's
The weather,
like a
too.
lot more chill weather, everything,
Facts.
right? So does the vibe over in LA just like influence your sound at all?
Yeah, definitely. Like I used to like listen to like a lot of West Coast music. Like Dr. Dre was like one of my favorite producers in the beginning. I can't really say like he's much of an influence now, but like definitely one of the OGs. And I would just listen to like a lot of like Eminem, 50 Cent, and even though they're not specifically the West, they had his production under him. You know what I mean? They had like West Coast production.
Yeah.
And then you got people like Snoop, and then modern people like DJ Mustard, YG. You even had Nipsey.
Yeah.
And like I would just hear the sound. For me, the West Coast sound was like I feel like New York was known for being lyrical, and that's dope. You know what I mean? But the West Coast had a more creative sound. That's why I personally liked things like 50 Cent, maybe people like 50 Cent, like because they knew how to mix that. You know what I mean? Like if you can mix those sounds perfectly, like a West Coast and then the lyrical, someone like 50 or just whoever, like, you know what I mean? It's just like the perfect mix to me, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. Like that joint with him in the game, right?
Facts.
I put
facts.
Lamborghini doors on that.
Facts.
Yeah, exactly. I got
Facts.
exactly what you're saying. Yeah, very good. So, what can we expect from you next? Well, me personally, I want to hear Hurt like everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like it's on streaming platforms. I want to hear it on the radio. I want to see it on the TV. Like, but
Me too.
what else can we expect from you?
Shit. It's a lot more work. It's a lot more projects. You know what I mean? Can't say I have like a specific goal in mind, but just more content, more music that lasts. You know what I mean? Something that's even better than Hurt. You know what I mean? And
Oof.
I might have one in the vote. It just wait on it. I'm actually going. That's why I'm going to LA for the shoot. But you know what I mean? Yeah, just this shit. This like you know what I mean? Just
Look out, stay tuned, be
It's a lot of
surprised.
shit.
Sporadic.
Facts.
All right, thank you, Osaji. We
No
appreciate
problem.
you. Yo, by the way, tell everybody where they can find your new single at.
Follow my IG OSAGYE.A. Or just type in my name on any streaming services, YouTube, OSAGYE, and you'll find me.
Yo, we at the Takeover Quad Studios, episode 2. We not going nowhere. Why? Because we got the new Scooter Braun, a rap in a building, artist manager, Donnie.
Thanks for having me, Z. Appreciate you stopping by.
Of course. Thank you for coming. So, I met Donnie well over 10 years ago. And in my opinion, he's the perfect person to lead somebody else to their success. Okay, like he's qualified. Like he's definitely a boss and he wears his role well. So let's get into this interview. How'd you get your start in the game as a manager?
I started through my mentor, Frank Barber. He taught me the game, he taught me the business side, he taught me the management side and stuff like that.
Okay, so how did you meet him?
I met him through a friend, Danny from Brooklyn.
All right.
He introduced me to Frank. Frank had a lot of artists under his belt. He had a lot of classic catalogs and major titles from like back in the days, so Frank been in the music industry about 30 years now.
Yeah. So he basically saw what everybody who knows you sees.
Exactly.
Right? So just a Brooklyn boy, by the way. Straight Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
So what qualities do you look for when you're scouting talent?
So I basically look for people that's hungry, people that is like genuine, people that want to work, people that love their craft, and people that put the time in the grinding.
For sure, because it's like sometimes you can't get it all with one person. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you got to build them, you got to mold them into the talent you want them to be. So with that, I just look for people that wants to work, that wants to create good music, and that got good energy.
Yeah, so you're looking for that well-rounded artist, right?
Yes.
Very good. But at the same time, it's like you're there to help develop them. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, yeah.
But it helps to have those key elements. Yeah, I get that. So what do you think about the current state of hip-hop?
I mean, the current state of hip-hop, it's a lot of drill rappers coming up nowadays. So, the culture is changing. So right now we in a time where everybody is drill crazy.
Drill.
Everybody love drill rappers. Everybody
drill
looking
shit
for the
is
next
fire.
drill sound, and it's it changed from like the back in the era of the 90s. Like it's changing, and you just gotta adapt and change with the time of what's hot.
I agree with that. That drill beat is
like
fire.
the drill is in. Like it's like a turn up. Like everybody look at it as a turn up music.
Got that pop, that 5-0.
Yeah, like
right? So I feel like managers don't get enough credit for the weight that they carry. Like being in charge of someone else's career is like a big fucking deal, So it's like, what are some obstacles that you're prepared to face when you're leading someone else's career?
I mean, basically, like, they put everything on the manager's back. So, like, we got to deal with their life. We got to deal with sometimes they don't show up for their shows, sessions. We got to take the blame because we don't want to throw the artist under the bus. Like, how will we look saying, oh, our artist is late for a show?
Right.
We got to eat it. So, at the end of the day, we don't get enough credit, but that's the nature of the business and the job. Like, we signed up for it. And at the end of the day, we control majority of their lives, like, so we got to make sure ends meet. We got to make sure they there, we just got to mold them, so.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like in this game, you got to be ready to catch either a brick or a break. Like, how you feel about that?
I mean, yeah, with this industry, is either you catch a brick or a break, and everybody in this industry caught bricks and breaks, like, that's just the nature of the business. But from my experience, like, I caught a brick and a break.
So, what you mean you caught a brick and a break?
I used to manage Malibu Mitch, and, she kind of blew up. We got a deal at Atlantic Records.
Oh, okay.
But she wasn't able to keep the deal. So, like, the break was, us getting there fast. But in all reality, we wasn't able to hold on to it. So that was a break. That was the break in the process. So, but at the end of the day, like, I don't look at it as a brick or a break. I just look at it like, it was my experience coming into the game, like, because I came in quick. But at the end of the day, I learned a lot. So I don't count it as a brick.
That's dope, because a lot of people, they internalize their wins and their losses differently. But I feel like how you deal with your losses is very important.
Defines you as a person. So, I don't look at stuff as losses. It just maybe it wasn't meant to be. Maybe the time wasn't right. But as long as, you know, I can gain something from that loss and I don't repeat the same mistake, I'm cool. Like, you know, it's not a loss.
Right. So you're currently, so Malibu Mitch was your first artist.
Yeah, she was my first artist coming into the game.
Yo, to me, that shit is so dope because it's like, you know, everybody has their differences. Things work out, things don't work out. And it's like,
Yeah, no, she definitely was a dope artist. As far as on the female side, yeah,
Yeah.
like she was talented.
yeah.
You know,
and
you
saw
can't take that away.
Yeah. But for that to be your first artist,
Yeah.
you took your first artist, got them a deal.
Yeah,
and
it happened so quick, nobody can't even believe it. It was just like a shock to everybody. I couldn't even believe it.
Yo, we're talking
You know,
about Atlantic
so-
Records. Like, that's dope. That's
Yeah.
definitely dope. So you're currently managing a Brooklyn rapper, Q Run It Up,
Yeah.
and a producer, Paul Couture. So
Yes.
tell us about how those relationships formed.
So Q Run It Up is an artist from Brooklyn. You know, I co-managed him with Tiny. I knew Tiny for like 20 years. And, you know, Q's a dope artist. Like, you know, he's 20 years old, you know, up and coming, got nice sound, you know,
Sound is
respectful,
dope.
humble, hungry, loves to go to the studio, and he's about his craft. So, you know, with Q, I've been managing him going on a year now, you know. We had Atlantic come, Asylum come. Asylum is like a development label, which we did the deal with them. And he got a mixtape that's about to come out. We dropped a single called DFA. We're going to drop another single and maybe the project by this year. So, you know, Q's definitely working.
You landing everybody deals.
Yeah.
Like, I would want to be managed by this guy. Like, that shit is dope as hell.
Yeah. As far as Paul Couture is, like, you know, he's a producer.
Yeah.
You know, Paul's a seasoned producer.
Extensive.
He produced the
list.
French album, Max B album. He produced something for Quavo, Swayze. Like, you know, Paul's been doing this for like 15, 20 years. And, you know, long as you keep the grind, you're going to get the W's. So
So how did you and Paul connect? Like, how did you
I
become
met
his manager?
Paul through Frank. Frank had Paul signed to him. Paul didn't have a manager. And we became so close. We kind of was like brothers, and it was like genuine. So ever since that, for the last 4 or 5 years, I've been rocking out with Paul. So we just became close, and, you know, now this is what we got out of it.
So what is you told us what Q Run It Up is working on. His single, by the way, is fire.
Thank you.
Yeah. And what is Paul Couture working on right now? Can you let us in on that, or
So
we gotta wait?
Paul's working on Max album.
Max.
He's working Max B.
Oh, wavy.
And, you know, he got a lot of up and coming projects coming up.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's going to do something for Q's project also. Like, you know, so he's working.
Okay, it's fire. And what legacy do you want to create in this industry?
That's a good question. So basically the legacy I want to create is for all artists that come up under me, you know, I want to put them in a good spot. Like, you know, I want them to be able to create financial stability. Like, you know, I want them to be able to invest. Like, you know, I want them to treat their music career as if it was a real job. Like, you know, I don't want to see my artists get to the top and get knocked down, and next thing you know, it's like they put in all this hard work for nothing. So I want them to have these opportunities where they create different revenue streams, invest, like, you know, don't sell your publishing and masters, like, you know, hold on to it, because it's going to be worth something in the end.
You want to be
So-
that mentor for them, like how.
Exactly. I want
Yeah.
to teach them what Frank taught me, basically. Like, you know, I'm not the type of manager that want to come in and say, oh, I want to take all my artists' money. That's not it. I want to put them in a position so when they retire, they could continue making money. Like, so, you know, that's
And
what
that's-
the legacy I want to leave.
That's rare. That's rare, and that's a dope guy right there.
Thank
Donnie,
you. I appreciate you having me.
I appreciate you. Yo, we gotta get the fuck up out of this bitch right now, though, yo. We out.
Man, they in there. Get them.
Let's go.